Alright my friends, a little different. You can't really see me too much. But today we're going to actually do a weird kind of comparison. I've had a few people comment on the fact that I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and they were like, well, why didn't you just keep your 2015 MacBook Pro, because it's just as good. It's actually one of the last MacBook Pros that was actually still good. In a way, I kind of agree. The 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro was solid. It is still solid, and it's why I actually still have it. And it's actually here, this one here on the left, which is the 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro. And if I bring up the system specs on that, you'll actually see running 10.15.3 Catalina, 2.5 gigahertz quad-core Intel i7, 16 gigs of RAM, and running the standard video card that came with it. Now, this year, when the 16-inch model came out, I bought it because I didn't buy the 2016, 2017, 2018 because there was a lot of issues, and I will be the first to agree with that, especially in regards to some heating issues for throttling, as well as we all know some of the keyboard issues that were out there that affected some, not everybody, but affected some people. So when the 2019 16-inch came out, I was hoping that everything got fixed, and as up to now, I think actually it's a very solid machine, and I'm super happy with my purchase. So what we're gonna do is actually take a look at the two of them side by side so you guys can see the difference between that old 2015 and the new 2016, as well as do a couple performance challenges. One will be a benchmark, and the reason that I bought the new 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro was because I do video editing, and really the concern is it fast enough to warrant getting a new machine from the old 2015? So that's going to come up right after this. Alright my friends, so here you go. There's the two machines right here. You can see them. Hopefully the camera is catching both of them. And they are identical in physical size. So if you look at these two machines, even keyboard layout, they are pretty much identical to each other. Side by side, if you put these on top of each other, they match perfectly. Even the actual depth and height of these two match. The screen size with the frame actually matches. And that's the only difference really in physical size, is if you look up here, this screen is a little bit physically bigger. So the bezels on the 16-inch considerably smaller than the bezels on the actual old 2015 15-inch model. But if you were to look at physical dimensions of these two, pretty much dead on identical. Now, some may find this a bonus with the old 2015 is that it comes with the old ports that a lot of us know. So it comes with the two USB 3 ports, it comes with the Thunderbolt 2 ports, it comes with the HDMI port, it comes with an SD card reader. That's pretty big for a lot of us. It comes with the old MagSafe connector. And a lot of us really did like the old MagSafe connector that was on that 2015. And I agree, that was a really good connector, and I really enjoyed having that. But if you're looking at a machine that's going to future-proof you so that you can actually get some of the newer connectors, having USB-C/Thunderbolt is huge. And I get it, there are definitely some devices that you and I use or are thinking about that I'm like, well, now I have to have a dongle. And you are 100% correct. You're going to have a dongle. Is that the end of the world? Well, I don't know. I don't think so. And having 4 of these USB-C ports on the computer means that I have 4 ports that I can really convert into just about whatever I want with an adapter. So I could have 4 USB-C ports. I could have 4 USB-A ports. I could have 2 HDMI and 2 USB-A's, or 1 HDMI and an Ethernet and a whatever configuration I kind of want. That's what I like about those ports, and I don't mind having to have a little bit of external to do that. Really up to you. Both have a headphone jack. There you go. Both have a headphone jack, so you're good. As you can see on my screen right here, and I do have my little Insta360, taking a little video for us down here. We're going to run a couple things. Number one is we're going to run a benchmark, right? So here they are. You will see that screen brightness is close. I will say the 16-inch is a little nicer, so that resolution is a little crisper, and it does have a little bit of seems to have a bit more of a dynamic range on it. So if I crank these both up for screen brightness. I would definitely say that this one is a little cleaner, and definitely in the shadows we get to see a bit more information, which is kind of nice inside that, especially if you're looking at doing photographs and video work, things like that. I have these two machines almost cloned perfectly with each other. There are a couple add-ons on each one that is very specific and reason that I have it on those, but everything is kind of cloud-based, so even the files on my desktop should be mimicked. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to open up Cinebench. So we're going to open up Cinebench on both of these. Okay, this one has never been opened, so here we go. Accept, accept, accept. And you will see here. Now the big difference, here's the 16-inch Intel Core i9, 8 cores, 16 threads, 2.3 gigahertz. Running the AMD Radeon Pro 5500 with 8 gigs of RAM, whereas the 15-inch is running the AMD Radeon R9 R370, I believe with only 1 or 2 gigs of RAM. I'm not even 100% sure. But, are you ready? We'll test these out. And we're gonna see how much faster the 16-inch is versus the 2015. And both of these would have been considered in and around the mid-range points. So, ready? 1, 2, 3, off they go. Now we wait. I'll speed this part up for you guys. Actually, the 15 started first. You can definitely see the 16-inch just rifling through this information. I wouldn't be surprised if the fans kick in fairly soon. Fans on the 15-inch have already fired up. Oh, she's racing on the 16-inch. Definitely got a good head start. The cores on both of these are just racked right out, which is kind of cool to see. You can see now on the 15, some of that texture on the side is a real hit on it. See how slow it's processing on the left here? Or on the right, it's like, whatever, let's just go. All right, render test number 1 for the 16, almost finished. All right, done. CPU 2326. Still kicking along. Let's see how long it takes here. And this is not by any means going to be like a scientific test. You can see already that we're probably going to be at least twice as fast here. Almost twice as fast for sure. And you can see now that on the left, the 15-inch is dealing with the texture of like the reflections, and it looks like CDs inside there, as well as the reflections on that painting. And it's definitely having a bit of a harder time dealing with that information. So you see on the left, when it gets to that reflection area of the window, how it slows right down. All right, yeah, so we're looking about like CPU point-wise, we're looking at, it comes in at 2326 points for the CPU on the 16-inch and 1448 for the 15-inch. So that's a big difference between the 2015 versus the 2016. So there you go. That's a real big difference right there. Next one that we're going to play with is, I'm actually going to do this one computer at a time. We're going to start actually on the 15-inch, and I'm actually going to plug an external solid-state drive in here. So we're going to plug this in to the USB port on the 15-inch MacBook. Let that launch up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a very small video with just a couple clips in it. We'll run a couple effects on it, and we'll see how long it takes to render, as well as we'll see how long it takes to export, to see if there's any kind of difference. Because really this is going to be practical. So we know that the 16 is faster, but really how much time difference. So let's open up Final Cut here. We're going to make a new library on that Lexar, and we're going to copy a couple files on it so that we can move that whole project to the 16-inch as well when it's done. Okay, so I also brought up one of my other phones, and we're going to actually bring up the stopwatch so that we can have that on the system, and we'll put that kind of in the center here. So we'll be able to use that right there to see how long this actually takes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new project or a new library. We're going to put it on that Lexar drive. And we're just going to call this test. So we got a new library, test. We'll close the other library so we don't have anything unnecessary. We'll use the default event that they have. And we're simply going to just pull in 3 or 4 files. So we'll actually do some 360 files because those are hard on the system. So we'll go here and we'll pull in, let's pull in 3 files. We'll do 4 files. 4 files. So we're just going to bring these in their raw state, which is nice and easy. We're going to bring them in here. Not going to do anything fancy. We're going to import. In they come. They should come in nice and fast. It's really as fast as the drive can send them here. While that's going, we're going to make a new project. And we are going to bring this into just a standard 4K timeline, 24 frames. And nice and simply, we're going to grab these 4 files. I don't even care what they have on them. I'm just going to drag them in. What we're going to do as well is we're going to put an adjustment layer on them, like this. Okay, stretch that out all the way. And let's actually put on that adjustment layer, move this over because I can't see very good. We're going to come over here and we're going to add, let's see, some time code to it. And we're going to add a color. So we'll bring a custom LUT. There we go. Put a LUT on them. That's always nice and handy. And we'll put this one here, Aspen. That sounds good, Aspen. We are going to, because we're moving, nothing has started rendering yet. You can see the render bar is fully up there. We're going to place our playhead at the top and we're going to pause and we are going to hit start. So the rendering has started. You can see it kind of happening at the top here. I'll just bring this up so you guys can see it. Let's see, it says rendering up here. And we can get a time to see how long it takes to render. It's about a minute and 50 seconds worth of 360 footage with a LUT and some time code put on it. We'll fast forward this for you guys. Okay, so we've just hit 50% and we are about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So she's getting there, chugging along, but she's getting there. All right, my friends, we are winding down. What is our final time coming at? 97, 98, 99. 4 minutes 45 seconds. Let's say 4 minutes 45 seconds for a minute and 52 seconds of 360 footage in a 4K timeline. Just one strip with a LUT and a piece of time code added. So not too aggressive, but you are kind of tripling the time that it is. So your timeline, whatever your timeline is, really if you had 6 minutes, times that by 3, really is what you're kind of looking at. So you're looking at about 18 minutes to render out. Remember that 4:45. I'm going to reset this and let's pretend now this was rendered and we want to export it. So we're going to export this just to the desktop. So we're going to export it in 4K. So settings, 4K, better quality, good to go. Now we are going to hit one more time here, Lexar test 1 and click. Off she goes. Let's see how long the export. Now I don't think the export will be much different. Usually exports aren't that different. It's very dependent on the drive that we're exporting to. So because of this, we should be close. Because if we're working on a video, time is money, right? Time is money. So if it takes you 3 times the amount of time, that may really warrant you getting a new machine because you don't want to be just hanging around waiting for this. If it's not that big a concern, you're like, I'll let it render in the background when I go have dinner. Well, then that's okay if that doesn't matter to you. Let it take more time. The 2015 does its job. It's working this footage just fine. It's just that it can take a bit longer to do all the render information. Just kind of be aware of that. We are at a minute and 10. And this is from already rendered footage. So I think we may be actually surprisingly close to the render time, to be honest with you. I'm actually a little shocked. So we are actually going to exceed the render time for the actual share. You can see now we're coming up on that 440 time right away, and we're only at 77%. So we're going to break 5. We may even hit 6 minutes for the export. All right, we're done. So I missed it by a little bit, but we're looking at about 7:15. About 7 minutes and 15 seconds to export that minute and 52-second clip. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shut down Final Cut on the 15-inch right here. We're going to shut it down. We're going to unplug this drive, and we're going to plug it into the new 16-inch MacBook to see what we can see for speed on this. All right, give me 2 secs. Hold on. All right, my friends. So the fan on the 2015 is still just rocking. It is still going, trying to cool itself down. You can hear it, maybe. I think it's finally starting to slow down. All right, so what we're going to do now is we have the Lexar plugged into the new machine, and we're going to open up that exact same project. So here's that test. Make sure it's the only library and project that's currently running. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on this and open up that test. All right, let's just open up that project. Now, we are going to make sure, again, the render files are not there. Everything is ready. And we got our clock over here. Make sure that this hasn't rendered anything, so we're going to delete all the generated files. So delete all the render files. Hit OK. Render files have been deleted, and we're going to hold tight, ready, and watch that clip here. Once it starts its render, the render has begun. So here we go. So we were at about 4 minutes and 45 seconds for the render on the 2015. So let's see how long this takes. Again, same external hard drive that we're rendering to, so nothing has changed except the physical machine. All right, 96, 97, 98, 99. So just under 3 minutes. So we shaved almost 2 minutes off of it. So from just under 5 minutes to just under 3 minutes. That's a huge performance increase when it looks at these two machines. So that's a big one. So now we've got this rendered. Let's do an export, because we're not going to actually just leave it here. We have to punch it out. So we'll reset this clock again. Take this again, Apple 4K. We're going to put this as test number 2. Make sure our settings are set here for the same, which it is. Save and start, same time. Perfect. And let's see. My hope is this should again be considerably faster. Because if you and I are doing video editing, there's so much rendering happening. There's so much exporting. There's so much hurry up and wait. So less waiting means more time to shoot and edit and put everything together the way we want it. So if this can speed it up and cut both of those times in half, that's fantastic. Now, the other thing that may even be a little bit of a limiter, especially on the new machine, is it may actually be a limit of the solid state's ability to write fast enough. So we may actually be able to speed this up if we could shoot or edit on the internal hard drive or to faster external solid states. Maybe 2 solid states that are rated together. So that may also be a big perk to speeding up the process. But we're just going to look here, and yeah, you can see here our sharing here is definitely faster. We're almost coming at 40% right now, and we just broke a minute. So my guess is it's going to be similar in time again. But the other one was 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes, I believe. So this one's going to be way faster for the export. And again, you got to realize that this is running pretty heavy footage, right? This is going to be running 360 style footage that's imported, so it's got a lot of conversions and that it has to do to this footage to get it ready for the export and to get it rendering. So I wanted to give it a little bit of a challenge, which I hope it did. If you're just running like 1080 footage, will the 2015 do it? Yeah, it'll do it just fine. But you got to remember, this is a machine designed really for those of us that are looking at working with 4K footage and 360 footage and 6K down the road and possibly 8K. Now 8K may be a little bit of a stretch for a machine like this, and we'll kind of be in the waiting game. But it should be able to do that if we possibly maybe do some proxying on our files and things like that, and our storage is fast enough. But how's our external? But how's our writing going? Oh, we're coming up on 70% right now, so not too bad. I think again we're going to kind of cut that time in half. So we go from about 7 minutes on the 2015. And my guess with this would be somewhere around the 3.5-ish. So again, right around that 50% mark. Now again, I don't know if the solid state is being an issue on the 2016. It's definitely not being an issue on the 2015 because we saw that it's faster. So this is being able to write faster to the drive. Now, if I were to do this to the internal on the MacBook Pro, the 16-inch, the 2019/2020, it's a fast internal drive. You're looking at a drive that's coming in over 2,000 megabits per second versus like 400 or 500 on the solid state. So before we finish today, just as a little bonus, we'll do a benchmark if we can on these two drives just to see if we can see a speed test. Now this is actually coming up a little fast, more than I thought, so breaking 4 minutes here. And I do think that may possibly be the solid state. I'm a little curious now. All right, done. So we're about 5 minutes. 5 minutes for the external versus 7 minutes on this machine. So again, we're saving about 2 minutes. So that's actually pretty good. So we're gonna stop this and move this here. Last but not least, last little test that we're gonna try, Blackmagic speed test, just so you guys can see the difference in the actual speed of the physical hard drives that come in this, because that's gonna help a whole bunch in anything that we're doing locally. So we're gonna hit the start button on both of these. Ready? And 3, 2, 1, go. Look at this one coming up at 23 for the write. This one 970. 25 for the read versus 13. That's huge differences in regards to drive speed, drive performance. If you look at what this will work with, it's everything. It's everything, and it'll do it ridiculously fast. Over on here, it'll do most of it. The only thing it won't do is the 10-bit write at full 4K 50 and 60. Is that a big deal? Not for most of us, but any kind of increase in speed is definitely going to help. You will notice that write only coming in just around 1,000 versus 2,300 on the new machine. They're fast drives inside the new MacBooks. Fast drives. There we go, guys. I'm going to leave you there. So the real question is, is it worth the upgrade? And for me, it was, because for someone who's trying to put out a video almost every day, if possible, I can't wait around for half an hour or an hour when I don't need to. So being able to let that go and save 4 minutes here and 2 minutes here, that all adds up to a lot of time over the day that can be used somewhere else. But if you can get a 2015 at a good price, I would say it's one of the best built machines that Apple has put out. The 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro is super solid. It is really solid. The keyboard is fantastic on it. If you are someone that wants all those old ports, so the HDMI ports and the USB-A ports and all those, the SD card reader, it's got it. You don't need anything extra. So it's good. Is the 2019 16-inch better? Yeah, I think so. It's definitely better in regards to speed. And really only time will tell if it's better in reliability. But this 2015 has been solid. Super solid. My hopes is this machine is going to be just as solid, I guess. Alright guys, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to do another test coming up soon. And I think I'm going to test same kind of thing with Final Cut. I want to see how drive speed affects the performance of Final Cut. So if we're working off an external spinning disk, how's our performance? Versus an external solid state disk, how's our performance? Versus a solid state internal, let's say this one, which has ridiculously fast speeds. Does that increase the performance of the machine? Does that decrease the render times? Does it decrease the exports? Because if it does, maybe we want to work off the internal as much as possible. Or maybe we want to set up a couple externals in a RAID. So we set up a little RAID 0 so that we get some additional speed if it's going to help performance. I think I'll work on a video like that to come up right away. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as per the usual, we will see you guys in the next video. Later, my friends.